So the birth story of my fourth child, my only daughter, I was 28 weeks along and I started having some signs of labor. I did go down and get checked and I was in labor, and hours went by, and so they admitted me, they put me in a room, and I was having horrible contractions, like one after the other. It just would not stop. And so around 2 a.m., they gave me some medicine to help with the contractions because I was only 28 weeks. So they wanted to try to keep the baby in longer if possible. So the medicine knocked me out. I mean, I was just out. And I kind of woke up with a contraction. I was like, ooh, that one hurt. But I could feel that I was hemorrhaging, but I could not pull myself out of what the medicine had done to me. And so I kept going back to sleep, and I could just feel, I mean, it wasn't good. And so I heard the voice, gentle at first, Gretchen, wake up. And I was trying to wake up, but I couldn't wake up. And then 2 or 3 times, Gretchen, wake up. And then finally, and I know it was the voice of God, Gretchen, wake up now. And I jumped up and I started screaming for the nurses and for whoever would come, because they had shut the lights off, closed my door, and were leaving me for the night. And so the nurses came running in, and the doctor came in, and she checked me, and she had this panicked look on her face, and she said, you're hemorrhaging all over the bed, and you're dilated 5 centimeters. And then she just froze. And I said, hey lady, let's go. And so she was like, okay. So she started calling everybody. So they unlocked the wheels of the bed. They were running down the hall. They were calling a crash. They were calling the NICU to come for an emergency. And so we got into the room. But as we were running down the hall, I had that song in my head, in my heart, so strong. The God of angel armies. I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind. And I was like, I know God went before me. I know it's going to be okay. So we got into the operating room, and they were preparing to put me to sleep. And the nurse sat down next to me with the oxygen on my face. And she said, now look, 90% of people in this situation either both die or mother or baby. But typically you don't come out of this situation, because my placenta had abrupted. And so she said, I just want you to know that it's not likely that you're going to make it. Or if you do wake up, you're not going to have your baby. And I started quoting the 91st Psalm, and I looked her in the eye and I said, and with long life will God satisfy me and my baby. And this is not long life. And then the next thing I knew, I woke up in the recovery room, and I had honestly forgotten that I had a baby because I was so drugged. But the nurse came over and told me about my baby. And so obviously we both made it. And Brooklyn's story is just miracle after miracle.